Hello, good day to everyone and welcome back. It's Professor Gray here with you, and today is week number 7 of our course. As I've been talking about our midterm exam, some of you have been asking, of course, our midterm exam will be in week 9, 2 weeks from this week. The exam, at this point, I pretty much decided to give it online. All of the students cannot come to the school, and therefore I don't think it's fair to have 2 different styles of tests. The only way to make it fair and the same test for everyone is to do it online. I believe our final exam will be in class. I think the school will mandate that. So I think it's easier, I give it to you online. How do we do that? It will be during your regular class time, okay? At that time, I'll send you the exam by email, and you'll have a certain amount of time to finish it and send me your answers. I'll give you more information by email about the specifics. The exam will be a combination of, it'll be on all the material we have covered up to the exam. And there will be only reading questions, however. I won't give you a listening exam over email. So the midterm will be focused on reading questions. There will be maybe 1 or 2 passages from the book and 1 or 2 passages that are new. I'll give you more information about that also next week. But reviewing everything we've studied will help a lot. I'm planning to send an email to each class this week with more specific instructions about the midterm exam. Okay, let's get right to work. Last week we started Unit 4 of reading, sentence insertion. Your homework began on page 39, accidental inventions. Let's take a look. We've talked about some. Remember Post-it notes? That was an accidental invention. Rugby, the sport rugby was an accidental invention. A young man didn't want to kick the ball. He wanted to pick it up and run with it. And so the sport was invented. Now, let's look at a couple more interesting ones here. Notice paragraph 1 talking about a popsicle. We'll talk, and the leotard. Now, leotard is something we don't really use that word anymore. It's like yoga pants, or maybe cycling pants, sports pants, thin, tight pants for, athletics, exercise, sports, and so on. They were, when I was young, we referred to them as leotards, but nobody says that anymore. I think yoga pants is most common now. Popsicle, well, an icicle, godrum, and pop. Pop is the sound when you take soda and you put it in a glass. You hear pop, 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 pop. That's why we call it pop. Many people in the U.S. call that soft drink, any kind of soft drink, pop. Some people call it soda, a general term for all soft drinks. Anyway, pop plus icicle, right? Pop plus icicle is popsicle. And that's why we call it a popsicle. And of course, they're very common here in Korea. It's usually frozen juice or something like that, something sweet usually. Very popular in the summer, not so much in the winter, but I think people still eat them in the winter. Insightful person. Insightful is sort of clever and smart, kind of able to not just smart, but also use their smarts to be clever, to be creative in some way. It's a very good word, very positive word. Number 6, they enjoyed the comfort of performing in underwear rather than costumes. Who are they, right? That's the key. When you see the word and you don't know the referent, that's your clue. Look back. Who are they? Well, the answer is D. Look at 6C. Soon other circus performers began performing the same way. Other circus performers. They enjoyed momomo. They refers to other circus performers, D. They mentioned it's a close-fitting one-piece garment. Garment is clothing, right? It's another word for clothing. For example, a clothing factory is often called a garment factory. Number 7, it was it. What is it? I don't know. That's the clue. It was a taste sensation, that stayed on his mind. Now, remember we used the word sensationalism, sensationalistic to describe newspapers, right? Pulitzer's newspapers sensationalized the news. They made it exciting. A taste sensation, an exciting taste, a delicious taste that stayed on his mind. Stayed on his mind means remembered. He remembered it. To stay or keep on your mind is to remember something. Look at 7c. As the temperature dropped that night, the soda water froze around the spoon, creating a tasty treat. Tasty, delicious. Okay, a delicious treat. It was a taste sensation, a tasty treat. The frozen water, right, with the kind of the juice soda water frozen around the spoon. He took it out of the cup. That's interesting. Started eating the ice. Said, wow, that's delicious. Taste sensation, tasty treat. Notice 7D here. Years later, remembering how enjoyable the treat had been, remembering connects back to stayed on his mind. So number 7 is D, and it connects back and it connects forward, both ways. Interesting, huh? So he mixed the water with the flavor crystals with the spoon, left it on the porch. Porch is a bit like a veranda or a deck. And it froze overnight. He forgot about it. And the next morning he's, oh, gee, I forgot. Oh, no. And it's frozen. Pulled it out of the cup, ate the ice, and said, wow, delicious. Taste sensation. Acrobat, by the way, is in gokye or gokyesa, like in a circus. That's acro means high. Acrobat, high, like Acropolis in Greece, Acropolis, high, polis, city, high city, Acropolis, Acropolis. I'll tell you a fun story. After World War II in the US, there was a huge surge in science and engineering and physics, mostly physics. And the government put a lot of time, resources, and money into supporting science, especially physics and chemistry. And there were labs set up, big, huge, very cutting edge labs to do experiments. And there was one big science lab somewhere on the East Coast. I think it was in New York or New Jersey, near New York City. And the head scientist there, it was a huge, almost like a campus with many different types of physics experiments going on. And the head scientist, of course, he would go every day from lab to lab with his clipboard, and his lab coat. And, he okay, what's going on? Okay, show me what you're doing. Writing down on his clipboard, okay. And he'd go to the next room and doing his job as the head scientist. But he was a chocoholic. What's a chocoholic? Okay, chocolate jengi, somebody who loves chocolate. We call it chocoholic. And he would, in his lab coat, in the pocket, he would keep chocolate because he'd be eating chocolate all day. And he'd go from lab room to lab room eating his chocolate. But then something strange happened. He noticed that sometimes the chocolate was melting. And he'd reach in, and it was like melted chocolate. Yuck, kind of gross. Gee, why is my chocolate melting? Then he noticed, he's a scientist, so he notices things, very observant. It was always after going into one experiment room, one lab. He said, gee, every time I go in here, my chocolate starts to melt. They're generating heat. So he said, everybody come out of the room. Everybody out. We're going to turn on the experiment. And they put popcorn, really, in the room. Turned on the experiment, watched through the window, and the popcorn started popping. And they realized that they were generating heat with this experiment. Well, the experiment was an early experiment on microwaves. And it was from this accident that microwave ovens eventually were invented. Right? They didn't initially realize that heat was being generated as it was doing the experiment. That wasn't the intention of the experiment. So that's the accidental invention of microwave ovens because a scientist was a chocoholic. Uranium, speaking of science and physics. Wow. Paragraph 1, facility means ease. Facile is a Latin word meaning ease or easy. So the facility means how easy it is in undergoing nuclear fission. Fission is when you separate, you split something apart. A fissure is a crack, like a big crack in a mountain could be called a fissure. Like facilities, when you go to a hotel, they talk about hotel facilities, maybe free internet or parking or a restaurant. Those make it easier to stay there. They make your stay easier, more convenient. So they are facilities. Number 8, the answer here is D. And for number 8, this is just summarizing what it says in the paragraph. Okay, the 3 naturally occurring isotopes of uranium are U-234, 235, and 238. An isotope is like a variation of an element, right? U is uranium, but there's different types of uranium, 234, 35, and 38. They're all uranium, but they're not exactly the same. I guess kind of like a rose, changmi. Right? Most roses are red, but not all. There's variations. There's white roses and pink roses. Those are roses, but they're a little bit different. Like an isotope of a rose, I guess. So each one has a different number of neutrons. So the atomic number, 92, is the number of protons. So everyone has to have 92 protons or it's not uranium. But you can have different numbers of neutrons, and so that's why they have the different number. 92 plus X is the atomic mass. So when you read all this, you realize they summarize it with the actual numbers. U-234 has 92 protons, it has to, otherwise it's not uranium, and 142 neutrons. 92 plus 142 equals 234. That's why it's called U-234. U-235, 92 and 143. U-238, 92 and 146. Okay, it's all 92. It's all uranium, but a different number of neutrons, so a different isotope. It's like a rose. A rose is a rose, but this rose is pink, this rose is red. Something different, but still a rose. Number 9 is C. These neutrons, if we look at 9b, nuclear fission can occur when a U-235 nucleus is struck, hit by a neutron, and the nucleus splits. Fission, fissure, split, break apart, separate, releasing energy and releasing 2 or more neutrons. 2 or more, plural. These neutrons can cause mo. These neutrons connect back to 2 or more neutrons. Fission is separating, and fusion is when you bond something together. To fuse is to bond together, connect. They're opposites, nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Okay, fusing together the atoms instead of splitting them. Theodore Dreiser, this was actually pretty well done. A lot of you did it in under 15 minutes, which is really good. It's a fairly long one. There's some difficult vocabulary. Some of you are doing very well, and I'm really, really happy to see that. If you took a little over 15 minutes, that's okay, because again, remember, it's not a race. Right now, what I want from you is to get comfortable in understanding the test, understanding the questions, knowing what they mean, knowing how to find the answer, and most importantly, understanding the reading, knowing the structure of the reading, how to follow it, how to look for the answers. When you answer, I want you to develop a technique, okay? A technique, following strategies for each type of question. That's done through practice. When we do the review test, I want you to push a little harder to finish on time. Okay, if you're still not finishing on time, that's okay. You're still doing fine in our course. But I'm encouraging you to push yourself so you get used to the TOEFL timing. When you take a TOEFL test, you have to follow the timing. So that's why I'm pushing you on the review tests. Those of you finishing in time, you're doing a very good job. Keep it up. This forceful first novel, number 1, where does this go? C. It was in Sister Carrie, the novel's name. Italics, name of a novel. The Theodore Dreiser, this forceful first novel, Sister Carrie, okay, refers back to Sister Carrie, C. The architect of a new genre. Genre is a style, usually kind of with art, an art style, movie style. Any kind of art is genre. Musical genre. It's a French word. It's not an English word. We kind of borrowed it from French, and we pronounce it in English genre. In French, it's genre, but it's very difficult for us to pronounce, so we say genre. Laid bare, exposed to the harsh reality, the rough truth of life in the big city. Paragraph 2, Dreiser was born in 1871 into a large family whose fortunes had in the recent past taken a dramatic turn for the worse. Dramatic, big, turn for the worse, from good to bad. A big turn, a big change. Dramatic means big. Big change from good to bad. Number 2 is A. Dreiser's family had formerly been rich before it had become poor. From rich to poor, big change, dramatic turn from good to bad for the worse. For the worse means good to bad. Number 2 is A. Number 3, let's do them in order here. In his work as a reporter, he was witness to, he saw, he observed the seamier, dirty, dangerous, kind of bad side of life, and was responsible for recording. Recording means writing down, writing about, either writing or, of course, speaking, but he was a writer, so recording here means writing. Events that befell means happened to. Events that happened to, things that happened to the less fortunate in the city, the beggars, the alcoholics, the prostitutes, and the working poor. These are sort of the lower classes of the city, the poorer people, less fortunate people, poorer. Number 3 is B. Dreiser observed, was witness to. Always look for synonyms and restatements in your answer. And wrote about, okay, remember, write about, recording. He witnessed and he recorded. He observed and he wrote about the poorer classes, the less fortunate, the poorer classes, such as beggars, alcoholics, prostitutes, and working poor. Number 3 is B. Number 4, at this young age, stop there. What young age? I don't know. Look for a young age. This connects back. The answer is C. Look at 4B. He left home at the age of 16. At this young age. Perfect connection. Odd jobs. Notice taking odd jobs. Odd jobs is sort of a temporary, part-time, maybe for 1 day, 2 days, or you mow someone's lawn. That's an odd job. You get paid, you do it once a week or just once. Okay, an odd job is just sort of temporary to make money, so you have some money. And then after 4C, it says after earning some money. The odd jobs after earning some money. It connects forward as well as backwards. Number 5, it was rather unusual for a novice writer to achieve so much so quickly. Novice, remember? Innovative, new, creative, innovation, novel, novelty, new. They all mean something new. A novice writer means a new writer. B. Dreiser first tried his hand. First try his hand means try something for the first time. To try your hand at something means something new. New, novel, You are a novice. This is B. Number 5 is B. First tried his hand at writing, a novice writer. What did he achieve? He got his first 4 short stories published. That's an achievement, and that's unusual. Usually a new writer doesn't get published. It's very difficult, takes time. It is unusual to achieve that so quickly. Number 6, as Carrie progresses from factory worker to Broadway star by manipulating, using anyone in her path, Dreiser sends a clear message about the tragedy of life that is devoted purely to the quest for money. Quest means like the desire, trying to get something. A quest is like a journey to get something. And here it's money, a journey for money, a quest, a lust. And as we say, lust for money, number 6 is C. Dreiser used one of his characters, Carrie, to demonstrate, to send a clear message. To demonstrate. Those are like synonyms, kind of a restatement. The negative aspects, the tragedy, negative, of lust for money, quest for money, lust, quest, desire, deep desire, wanting of something. Number 7, C, number 6 is C. Number 7, these changes were intended to tone down, sort of, as we say, water down or dilute, make something softer, not so strong, not so concentrated. Some of the starker means like completely exposed, stark naked, completely exposed, and more scandalous descriptions. What are the changes? What's another word for changes? Revisions. Look at 7A. The novel was accepted for publication by Doubleday, but Dreiser was immediately asked to make major revisions to the novel. A revision means a change. These changes were perfect connection. Number 7, B. Number 8, having sunk, drop down to a point. So having sunk to a point means your low point in your life. Okay, in our lives, we all have ups and downs, peaks and valleys, good days and bad days. That's normal. That's everyone. But sometimes in life, we have very, very low points. You sink to a very low point. Well, he got so low that he considered suicide. So his brother sent him to a sanatorium where he eventually recovered. Now, sanatorium, I guess today we would call it a mental hospital, a place where people who have, he tried to commit suicide or thinking about suicide. So this is, of course, a mental problem. And his brother sent him to a mental hospital that we used to always call them sanatorium. At that time, sanatorium, torium like dormitory, conservatory, building or room, place. San like sane, like normal. When somebody has some problems in their head, we say insane, not sane, not normal. So this is a place where somebody maybe a little bit insane would go to become sane. Again, sanatorium. Number 8 is D. His brother stepped in, his brother helped, brother got involved. Number 9, the recognition that accompanied the success of the novel was based not only on the power of the description of the perils of urban life, but also on the new trend, new style, new genre in literature that Dreiser was credited with establishing. Number 9 is D. Dreiser achieved acclaim. The recognition. Okay, he was recognized for his good writing. He achieved acclaim. Acclaim, praise, recognition for doing something very well. In like the Nobel Prize. If you win a Nobel Prize, that's acclaim. You achieve acclaim. You're very famous, best in the world. And you're recognized as being the best in the world. The perils means the dangers. The dangers His writing was so powerful, and he established a new trend. He created a new trend. Notice how the last paragraph and the first paragraph connect. Okay, paragraph 1, architect of a new genre. At the end, establishing a new trend. Complete restatement. A good writer will connect the essay this way, beginning to end, connecting. It's like closing a box, right? This is a sign of good writing, and if you read, it's a good way to learn how to write and to notice, synonyms and restatements and writing styles. Very important that you notice this while you're reading. Number 9 is D. Number 10, this company, B. What is this company? Butterick's. He took a position as an editor for Butterick's. This company was one, Okay, perfect connection. If you answered C, no. They do talk about a company, B.W. Dodge, but then which republished Dreiser's novel Sister Carrie? This company was, it's separated by that extra clause there, which republished Dreiser's novel Sister Carrie? B.W. Dodge does not connect directly to C. Butterick's connects directly to B. The answer is B, number 10, B. How'd you do? Now, if you didn't get a perfect score, don't give up, don't tear up your book, don't quit, it's okay. Okay, it's a step-by-step process, do your best. If you get a few wrong and you understand why you got them wrong, that's great. It's a learning process, that's why we're here. Okay, making mistakes is a positive part of the learning process if you learn from them, if it increases your understanding, right? If you made a mistake and you don't know why, then ask me. Just say, I don't understand why, why I got number 6 wrong. Please ask me, that's why I'm here. I can explain questions and answers to you. Okay, we're gonna do kind of a test now. Right? Pulsars, page 46. Go to page 46. Pulsar. Pulse, when you go to the doctor and they go like this, or here, I guess it's here usually, yeah, thump, 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 thump. They're checking your pulse, your beat. Pulse means beat. Like music, musical beat, musical tempo. Boom, boom, boom. Same. But with this, we don't really, you can say heartbeat, but when we're talking about blood, we use the word pulse, but really it's the same thing. Pulsar. Boom, boom, boom. Guess what? We're going into outer space again. We're gonna do some more astronomy, our favorite topic. There are 13 questions, so that's 20 minutes. I want you right now to pause the video and on your own do pulsars. Read it, answer the questions, stop, okay, and then come back. And I'm going to go over it with you. Okay, think of it like a kind of in-class practice test, right? Time yourself. At 20 minutes, stop. If you didn't finish, okay, continue and finish. But I want you to push yourself to try to finish in 20 minutes. And I want you to be aware of 20 minutes, like aware of how long 20 minutes is. When you're in the middle of a test, 20 minutes sometimes doesn't feel like 20 minutes. But through practice, you learn how to feel the timing. Okay, go ahead, hit pause. Pulsars, questions 1 through 13, page 46, 47, 48. Come back and I'll go over it with you. Go ahead, good luck. Okay, welcome back. You don't need to tell me your time, by the way. That's only when it's homework. This is classwork, so you don't have to tell me your time. But if you're concerned about it, you can talk to me in your email. Then if you have questions or comments or concerns about your timing, then talk to me, please. Okay, number 1, emanate from A, develop. To emanate means to come from, like to emit something. E is like out, okay? Exit, external, emit, go out. So to emanate is to go out from or to develop from, come from. Notice here the key part. There is, though all is not known about pulsars. That's the key. We don't know a lot. Yeah, the space is the final frontier. There's so much we don't know. In fact, there's very little we do know. about outer space. We're just learning. Number 2, what made this pattern unusual was that, unlike other radio signals from celestial objects, this series of pulses had a highly regular period of 1.3373019. Can you imagine that perfect? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decimal places of perfection. Now, could you do anything that perfectly? No, I don't think a human being could. Mother Nature, no, she can. What's unusual? C, that the pattern was so regular. I mean, if it was 1.3 or 1.33, that would be amazing. But 8 decimal places of perfection? Wow. Celestial. CEL is Latin, comes from the Latin for sky. So when you see celestial, that means in the sky. Okay, sky, celestial object, objects in the sky, planets, stars, the sun, etc., etc. Number 3 is B. They refers to the pulses and a satellite. Satellite is anything that goes around an orb, a circle. So the original satellite for Earth is, of course, the moon. It spins around Earth. Earth is a satellite of the sun, right? It spins around the sun. Today we have man-made satellites. What do? They spin around, they travel around Earth. Number 4, raised is suggestion, to raise an idea, to suggest an idea, raise a question, ask or suggest a question. And number 5, this name was selected. Okay, what is this name? D. Okay. However, after researchers had found 3 more regularly pulsing objects in other parts of the sky, over the next few weeks, the name pulsar was selected instead of LGM. Pulsar was selected. This name was selected because it indicates a regularly pulsing. Boom, boom, boom. Pulsar was selected. This name was selected. Perfect connection. Number 5, B. Number 6, to be engaged in something is to be participating. D, taking part in or participating. Number 7, the nature of the pulsars. B, number 7 is B. Number 8, however, this idea was also rejected because the fastest pulsar known at the time pulsed around 30 times per second. Wow. 30 in 1 second. I can't do that. I don't think anybody could. And a white dwarf, which is the smallest known type of star, would not hold together if it were to spin that fast. So 30, like 30 in 1 second, means it's spinning 30 times in a second. And according to physics, it would explode. It's too fast. It can't hold together. It can't stay together. There's something spinning too fast, boom, it'll explode. A, the frequency, the speed. 30 per second is a frequency, is a speed. Frequency is too high, too fast. Frequency high, fast, too much, it would blow apart. Number 9, further means more, or C, additional. Additional, further evidence, more evidence, additional, ADD, more, add, like plus. Number 10 was a bit difficult. The Crab Nebula is what remains of the supernova of the year 1054, and inasmuch as, because it has been theorized that neutron stars sometimes remain following supernova explosions, it is believed that the pulsar coming from the Crab Nebula is evidently just such, exactly this, just such a neutron star, exactly. So it is believed, it is theorized that the supernova, when a star explodes, goes away, then creates a black hole, created the Crab Nebula, which contains a pulsing neutron star, just such a neutron star. So the star, the supernova is when it explodes, disappears, black hole is usually created. In this case, fragments sort of went out, looks like broken glass everywhere. And each one of those they believe is, or some of those are creating these pulsars that are sending back these pulses, these signals to Earth. Number 11, properties, characteristics of something, traits. Number 12, it refers to see one of the beams. Now, number 13, one of the beams passes over Earth, it is detectable. The beams is detectable. Number 13 was a bit tough. D is the answer. The periodic flashing of pulsars is related to rotation rather than pulsing. So the name pulsar is actually not very accurate. This is a final summary, a final thought. It's summarizing all of the last paragraph, paragraph 6. It's basically saying that the name pulsar is not really accurate because it's not a pulse, it's a sweeping motion. Lighthouse, dung de, okay, dung de. So a lighthouse doesn't go like this, it goes in a circle, it sweeps. So every time it sweeps, boom, 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 it's like a pulse. So they now call it a lighthouse theory, but we still use the word pulsar. But in summary, the name pulsar is actually not very accurate. How do we do? Any questions or problems, ask me. Hopefully you did well. That was a good exercise in that it was a summary of all, all 4 chapters, units that we've studied, all 4 question types that we have studied up to now. Okay, again, you don't have to tell me your time or your score. If you're concerned, you can ask me, about your time and score in your email. If you don't understand something in the reading, or if you don't understand the question or the answer, then please email me. Remember the golden rule. If you don't ask me, I can't answer. Skill 5, find factual information. Okay? Just facts. Now, the key here, I can sum it up in one word or one phrase. Synonym, restatement. The answer isn't going to say the exact same thing that you read in the passage. That's too easy, right? It's going to restate what the passage says. Look for synonyms, look for restatements. There's your answer. Ghost words. A ghost word is a non-existent word that has made its way into a reference work by mistake. One well-known example of a ghost word is the word dord, D-O-R-D, which appeared in a D-O-R-D. Dord was added to the dictionary when a typesetter, the typist or the word processor, now we would call it a word processor, who was making entries into the dictionary, misread the entry D or D. Okay, D or D. In science, as you know, we use letters to represent scientific properties. E equals mc squared. There's a very famous one. E, energy, mass times the speed of light squared. Okay? Scientists use letters E, M, C to represent properties. Good. Well, density, mildo. Density in Korean is mildo. And okay, so they use the letter D for density. But you can use a capital D or you can use a small d. Big D or small d. And they read it D-O-R-D. Oh, Dord. Dord is density. Silly mistake. But this is 1934. It stayed in the dictionary for 1 year. Now, if you made that mistake today, you can fix it in 1 second because of modern technology, computers, right? But in 1934, no, once it's in, that's done. They couldn't fix it until next year. But it gets even worse when you go back farther. Look at number 2. Okay, the Roman writer Cicero had correctly used the Latin word citibus in his writings to refer to title and author label on a manuscript. In a 1470 edition of Cicero's works, citibus was miswritten as syllabus, and that word is now a word. In 1470, somebody, instead of writing citibus, wrote syllabus. I don't know why, I don't know how, but they made a mistake, right? You couldn't fix it next year. They certainly didn't have computers with spell check in 1470. So the word stayed. It became a word. And now the word syllabus is a very common word. Every professor will give you a syllabus at the beginning of the course. Now you could tell your professor, you know, sir, that's the wrong word. It's not really syllabus, it's syllabus. But I don't think you should tell him that or her that. Just let it be. Why? Well, mostly because it's actually now the right word. In 1470, when you made a mistake, it stayed. There was no way to change it next year, 10 years later, permanent. So today we have this accidental word, syllabus. As always, please read the introduction on your own, look closely at these examples, and read the box. Look at the box, the shaded box at the bottom of page 50. That's really, really essential. Let's try a couple here in class together right now. Passage 1, Lake Baikal. We've talked about Lake Baikal before. Remember, it's in Siberia, in Russia. We learned it's the deepest lake in the world, and we learned it has a lot of fresh water. Let's learn more now about Lake Baikal. Read passage 1, answer the 5 questions. Try to finish in 5 minutes or so. Don't rush, but don't go too slowly. When you're done, come back. Okay, number 1. What is stated in paragraph 1? Crescent shaped. Well, crescent is kind of like a moon. To be honest, the answer is D, but it's not a really good answer. That's not really a new moon. But anyway, A is wrong? Absolutely. B is wrong? Absolutely. C is wrong? Absolutely. Only D is possible. Is D really right? Well, it's not really a perfect answer, but guess what? It's the best answer. Remember the rule, choose the best answer. Only D is possible. Okay? Again, it's not a great answer, it's not a perfect answer, it is the best answer. Number 2, it's the 9th largest lake in area, so its ranking is number 9. It is ranked number 9 by surface area. What does that mean? That means 8 other lakes are bigger. A. Number 2 is A. Number 3, if you look at A and you look at B, A, 1/5 of the world's water. What is 1/5? D, 20%. Same. Fresh water. That's the difference. Fresh water means not salty. Okay, a non-saline or not salty water. Of course, this lake is big, but the oceans are 1,000,000 times bigger. So it doesn't hold 20% of the world's water. Of course not. I mean, the oceans, I don't know, hold 90%? I don't even know, but the oceans are where the water is. But that's salt water. This is fresh water. That's the difference, D. Number 3 is D, fresh water. Number 4, C, the lowest known point. Lowest means deepest. Look for a synonym. Lowest, deepest, C. And number 5, again, a synonym, B. Sections of the earth were moving away, what do we say? Splitting apart. Paragraph 2, sentence 2. It began forming 25 million years ago as Asia started splitting apart, separating, or moving away. Look for the synonym. There's your answer. The postage stamp, page 52. Okay, 5 questions. It's a little bit longer. Do your best. Finish as quickly as you can without rushing. If you need more time, take it. This is practice. So finish it in a reasonable amount of time, then come back and I'll go over the answers with you. Good luck. Go ahead. The postage stamp. Well, it was first proposed in England. First proposed means suggested. In England in 1837, number 6, C. A restatement of 1837 is C, the first half of the 19th century. The 19th century is the 1800s, and the first half is up to 1850. 1837 is in the first half. Notice the question suggested, and you see the synonym proposed in the passage. Number 7 is A. The fees, the money should be collected in advance of the delivery, before the delivery. Collect the money before the delivery. Well, who pays before? The sender, the person sending it. Number 7 is A. The sender is the person before delivery. Number 8, well, what do we learn? A portrait of then Queen Victoria, to send letters weighing 14 grams or less. In other words, very, very lightweight. Number 8 is D. 14 grams or less, very lightweight. It was not designed by Queen Victoria. It had her portrait on it, but she didn't design it. It didn't have a black penny on it. It was called the penny black. It had a portrait of the Queen. And it was produced in sheets of 14 stamps. No, 14 refers to weight, 14 grams, very lightweight. Notice they say then Queen Victoria. Then means at that time. She's not queen anymore, but we still call her Queen Victoria. But she's not queen now, but she still keeps that title. So we say then queen. She was queen at that time of this stamp being created. Number 9, B, before Switzerland. Yep. Brazil was number 2. After England came Brazil, and then Switzerland. Parts of Switzerland. And then they talk about the U.S. Number 10 is C, denomination. A denomination is an assigned value by, like, the government. So a stamp is just a piece of paper, but the government assigns a value of that stamp. They a denomination, what that stamp is worth. The same thing with money. Okay, like Korea, for example, you have paper money that you use, and there are 4 denominations: Chanan, Ochanan, Manan, Omanan. 4. There are 4 official denominations. Now it's just pieces of paper, but the government assigns the value. They say this is worth mo mo mo. Every country, of course, has that. Those are denominations. Coins. Korean money has also coins has 4 denominations: Shipwon, Oshipwon, Baekwon, Obaekwon. 4. So 4 denominations of coins, 4 denominations of paper currency. Homework. Passage 3, the Clovis culture. Passage 4, brown dwarfs. Going up to the sky again. More astronomy, brown dwarfs. Passage 3 and 4, page 53, 54, 55, and stop. Next week, we will begin Skill 6 together. So just a little bit of reading homework this week. Good luck, get it done, and tell me you did it when you email me before Thursday. Listening, we're starting a new skill today. Function, skill 3. Please turn to page 139. Bek Samshipgu. Function is really the purpose. Okay? Purpose. Pragmatic understanding means practical, like our class, 실용. Function really is just why. Why does the professor say mo mo mo? Why does the student ask this mo mo mo? All right? I think the best thing to do is practice. Look at example 1, listen and answer number 1 and number 2. Okay, go ahead now, listen to the example. Notice that in the questions there's the headset, the headphones. When you see that on TOEFL, that means you will listen again. So anytime you see that, you're going to listen again to one piece of the talk. Go ahead, do all of it now, and then I'll quickly tell you the answers. Good luck. Number 1. What does the professor mean when he says, okay, if it's a short question? Well, the answer is D. It's like, okay, short question means quick. Even his voice sounds kind of in a hurry. It's like, okay, if it's short, okay, I'm in a hurry. I don't have a lot of time. Come on. So you listen to the voice the tone of voice, the feeling of the voice, and the words, and that helps you answer. He's basically saying, I don't have a lot of time. Quickly, okay, what's your question? Bali, bali, bali. Number 2, the student says, you mean? In English, when we say, you mean, it means, is this what you mean? Do you mean this? Do I understand? Right? You're checking. You're checking to make sure you understand. Very common for a student to say this to a professor because you check to make sure you understand the professor correctly. You mean, just checking. Another word for checking is verifying. Verifying. Number 2 is C, to verify what she thinks the professor said or what he means. V-E-R-I comes from Latin for truth. Okay, the verity of something means the truth. Is it true? Is this true? There's a great old Latin phrase, in vino veritas. Vino, V-I-N-O, veritas, V-E-R-I-T-A-S. Veritas means truth. Okay, to verify, to find the truth. Well, vino means wine, right? Like V-I-N, vine, vintage, vineyard, okay? Comes from the Latin vino for wine. In is just in. So in, wine, truth. It means if you want the truth from someone, give them a lot of wine and they will be more honest. Very famous saying. It's a Latin phrase, but we use it in English. Page 142, of course, look at the box. You know the rules. Read that on your own. Very good information. Consultation, the library. Okay, we have a gentleman on the left. He is the librarian working at the school, and the lady on the right, she is a student, and she's consulting with the librarian, asking questions. Now, you're going to go through, it takes a while. You listen to the talk, and then the questions, you listen again and again. Each question, you hear a part of the talk again. Then you focus on that and answer the questions. Go ahead. Good luck. Do passage 1, answer the questions, stop, then come back. Go ahead. Okay, passage 1. Can you help me, please? That's why I'm here. What do you need? I'm here to help you. Okay, that's why I'm here. She says, can you help me? My job is to help you. B, he's ready to help. B, indicate or show that he's ready to answer her question, to help her out. Number 2, interesting, he says, that's why I asked. Okay, in other words, you do need to know. You need to know how old the magazine is to find it. That's why I asked. Means I do need to know how old it is. A, he does need to know. Emphasis. He cannot help her if he doesn't know how old the magazine is. A. Number 3, remember, mistakes are not accidents. Mistakes, this is a script, right? She says, I need to go to the 2nd floor. Excuse me, what am I saying? The 3rd floor. Very common in English. What am I saying? I made a mistake. Remember, we do that every day. Every day you make some little mistake when you talk to your friend or whatever. That's life. It's normal. This isn't. This is a script. It's prepared. It's intentional. When you hear a mistake like that, remember, you're going to get a question. Here's a question. C. She recognizes she has just said something wrong, incorrect. And number 4, feel free to come by anytime. D. He's always eager. Again, I don't really like the wording here. Eager means excited. He's not really excited to help. He's just sort of, that's my job. I'm here to help. I will help you. D. Not A. It's not, feel free doesn't mean it's free. B, no. See, no, he doesn't. He's not telling her to relax. He's not saying, okay, just relax. He's saying, ask me a question anytime. My job is to help you. I'm always ready to help. I think ready is better than eager. But anyway, he's basically saying, I'm here to help. Ask a question anytime. It's not C. He's not telling her to relax. He's just telling her, feel free to ask me a question anytime. I'm always here to help you. Passage 2, conversation, the transcript. Okay, a transcript, this is a very important document. This is the document when you are a senior and when you graduate, it is the final document of all your university grades and classes. So this is necessary sometimes for job interviews, or if you want to go to graduate school or study anywhere, you must show the transcript. Okay? Really important document. So there's 2 students talking about a transcript. Listen, look at the picture. Where are they? Are they in class? No. 2 students, friends, outside. So what is it? What are they doing? It's question and answer, question and answer. Follow the questions, follow the answers. Those are the key points. Go ahead. Passage 2, questions 5 through 9. Okay, number 5. I have a question for you. Well, all you have to do is ask. Now, these 2 are friends. So when your friend says, all you have to do is ask, means just ask. I'm your friend. Ask me any question. If I can help you, I will. It's just a nice way of telling your friend that I'm your friend, I'll help you with any question, if I can. Number 5 is D. Of course, I'm happy to help you. Number 6, oh, I think I can handle that one. Handle means manage. Or manage what? A question? If you manage a question, you answer it. I can handle that question means B. I can answer that question easily. No problem. Number 7, she says, that's all there is to it. Now, notice the voice. That's it. That's all there is. Only that. Just that. Her voice shows that she's surprised. It's easier than she thought. She thought this would be very difficult, but actually, that's all I have to do. Only that, just that. See, that sounds easy. The words mean that sounds easy, and the tone of voice. While you're listening, always pay attention to voice tone. Tells you a lot. Korean, English, every language. It's not just the word, it's the way you say it, how your voice sounds. That helps with meaning. C. Number 8. Well, you may get lucky, but don't count on it. This means like probably not. Don't count on it means probably not. Don't rely on it. Don't depend on it. Maybe, but I don't think so. A. Not likely that she will get what she wants. Not likely means probably not. There's your synonym. There's your restatement. And number 9. Well, if I were you, in other words, you should do this. If I were you means this is a good idea. This is what you should do. Go over to the registrar's office, 등록 사무관, and immediately go to the very important university office. Go there right now. Bali. B. Don't waste any time. Hurry, get there. Go to the registrar's office and talk about it. Okay, that's all for our in-class work. I want you to do passage 3, zoology, and passage 4, guess what? Astronomy, Venus. We're going to look at the number 2 planet in the solar system, the one next to us on the way to the sun, Venus. Okay, actually, we're going to learn some interesting things about Venus too. Looking forward to next week's lecture already. Zoology, the opossum, and Astronomy Venus. That's your homework. This week, oh, and then stop. We will begin skill 4 together in our lecture next week. So this week, you just have a couple of reading passages and a couple of listening passages. That's it. Most of our work this week we did together. Any problems, any questions, any confusion, ask me. Okay? Once again, I'll send you an email this week sometime with some more specific instructions about the upcoming midterm test. It'll be online during your class time. Any questions about that, please email me. That's all. Have a great week, everyone. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.